There we go. Got our sound working. All right. It's Wednesday. No, it's Tuesday. Tuesday. So we're going to be prepping for our Gothic Horror homebrew campaign. And we're going to be working on Gothic Ancestries. I read Ancestries in Pathfinder 2. I like it a lot more than races. Heritages is like a hard word to say. Ancestries definitely rolls off the tongue better and sounds cooler. So I'm going to go with Ancestries for now. I don't know. Origins is also pretty good. We'll see how it goes. I have decided, despite my great interest in Pathfinder 2 and renewed interest in World of Darkness from when I was a kiddo, that I am going to develop moving forward with 5e. I'm more familiar with 5e. 5e's hot right now. It's a fluent language, if that makes sense, for me to design in. So it'll be easier to just do work in a more mathematical and technical way with a system that I'm very, very proficient with. So we're going to develop some homebrew races. We're going to adapt races that already exist, and we're going to try our best to create some cool races that you wouldn't normally have access to, and make them feel interesting and meaningful, and maybe even explore the Pathfinder 2 system of racial feats that you unlock as you level up, so you become more of what you are as you level, which is always an interesting idea. What does this mean? It means there's a lot of work. Let's revisit our original notes from way back in the beginning. I did go through here and clean these notes up just a little bit, which was good. Let's see. Looks like chat window is blocking it. I'll just try to make sure it's scrolled at the top. Let's see. We got world. We got dreadlords. We've got campaign. We've got custom classes. And here we go. Custom races. So, before I saw that Pathfinder 2 was doing essentially racial feats or ancestral feats that you would get as you leveled up, I was looking at this from Grim Hollow, this lovely setting right here, and I loved the essentially template progression is what I would call this. So any race could be a vampire in the Grim Hollow setting, which if you want a cool Gothic Horror setting that already exists, and you don't want to wait around for us to finish working on this one, go pick up Grim Hollow, because it's super dope. It's maybe a little bit more interesting than Ravenloft. So you may want to go check that out. One of the things they have is they have these templates that can be applied, like old school 3rd edition and 1st edition Pathfinder. So I could be a vampire dwarf, and in addition to all my dwarf fighter abilities, I also have these vampire abilities that level up through gameplay. Now, these are not gated by experience points. These are all milestone based. So your dungeon master would decide during the campaign when you did something that would level up your vampire-ness, right? And then, very similar to Sims 4 vampires, this is a weird thing to pull out of nowhere. Whenever you gain a new ability, you also gain a flaw. So as you become more vampiric, you gain those weaknesses associated with the vampire to kind of balance out the great strength that you're gaining, which I think is really cool. So this system would be good, but also the system from Pathfinder where they use these feats. So let's close all these ads. Apparently, being old means I get ads for old people now. Feels bad. So within Pathfinder 2, you choose your heritage. Oh, maybe they call them heritage. No, ancestries and heritages. Jesus. So heritage replaces subrace, and ancestry replaces race. And then you, at first level, get to pick one thing about being in this case, tiefling, that is interesting. And then as you level, you could take more of these, and then they have level gates set up. So once your character level is 5th level, you might take one of these feats. And when your character level is 9, you could start taking these feats. And this allows you to have some pretty dope racial abilities in addition to your class abilities and background abilities and magical items and all that. And this was something that was requested by people who were following the progress of this campaign development, that they would like to see your race having a bit more meaning than just I'm an elf. Boom, right? Like, so there, I think this system and the one from Grim Hollow are both really strong. I don't know which one I would prefer to use. I don't know if we should use both. If this Grim Hollow template thing could be laid over the races that we design. So that's something to consider as well. I do know that developing this is way more work than developing a normal D&D race. Because normal D&D race, you get what is on the side of the can, essentially. Whereas if you wanted to kind of flesh out all of your different ancestries that people could take for their character, it is going to be a little bit more work of making these options available to them. I guess Tasha's and Xanathar's do this a little bit with racial feats. The problem with that is that the racial feats only represent some races, and then other races get left out in the cold. So there's like an inequity there of like, if I pick this race, I don't have access to racial feats, which is the main reason I don't allow racial feats in my current 5e games. Is I feel like it, I don't know. I feel like it only benefits certain people, and I don't know. If you're gonna have a system like that, I think it should offer the same benefits to everybody, regardless of what race they decide to play. So let's look at the races that we had picked out and start kind of fleshing them out a little bit and adding in races that we discovered we needed during the process here. So for this, I may move this window over here, and let's see. We'll have our to-do list here. We'll also have, let's see, we'll just start with humans, and let's do ancestries. Oof. Spelling hard. There we go. Okay. So we've got humans. Who else do we have? Among humans, we would essentially have heritages. So we had talked about embracing the darkness, fighting the darkness, and I wish I wasn't in the darkness. Okay? So embrace, fight, not fright, fight, and survive. Those are our 3 different subclasses. Now, or sorry, subraces, or I guess we call it heritages within that ancestry. As far as what we could do to flesh out these, we did a pretty good job already of exploring possible things that these classes could have. And we also talked about things that they could have from basically a 5e standpoint, like bonus skills, low light vision, innate spell-like abilities, that sort of thing. All of these would be great things to add to that grocery list of ancestral feats that you could take, so that you would have more options. What we could do is have a list of human ancestry. Oh man, these are such hard words. Ancestry. Okay. Feats. And then within those ancestry feats, some will be locked behind heritage. So there'll be things that are available to all humans, and then there'll be things that are only available to humans of a specific essentially culture or heritage. One of the things that I saw right away for tieflings is, if you need your character to be the most special character in the whole world, you can burn one of your racial feats to become an Aasimar and a Tiefling at the same time, rendering your character the most special character in the entire universe. So you would be a triple type Pokemon. You would be a Tiefling, a Humanoid, and an Aasimar, all at the same time, which is pretty damn remarkable. And then moving forward, you would be able to take feats from any of those three races, which is kind of nuts. Or I guess, sorry, you could take feats from Aasimar or Tiefling, and you would count as all three of those types. So that's kind of cool. Definitely something to consider would be a mixed heritage, which would allow them to take other stuff as they go. Another one might be half-breed, which would say that, like, well, I'm actually got, like, Fey blood, so I could take, like, feats from, like, the Fey traits, blah, 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 blah. So there could be cool ways to kind of mix and match these things as well. Like, we don't have half-elves per se, but you have Fey-blooded humans as a thing that they can unlock through their ancestral feats. So these ancestral feats, I think this is really strong design. I think it's something that could be layered over 5e pretty easily. Yeah, so I'm very interested in that. Alright, so past these, again, we're going to do quick pass over everything to review what we got, and then we'll keep working on it. We're going to be working on these races, or sorry, these ancestries for a while, so I'm not too worried about it. So the Fae, they were a bigger group, like so, and then within this group, this is where we have the different heritages. So let's see, we have the Shadow Fae. We have the, let me move this up towards the top. There we go. We have the Red Caps. And what was the last one? I think the Lycans were going to be their own category. So we really only have the Shadow Fae and the Shadow Fae and the Red Caps right now, which is fine. So among them, they could have some common stuff and then stuff that will be locked behind lineage as well. And I don't know if I would, for these, allow mixed heritage to go somewhere else, or half-breeds. We'll have to think about that. But we will say that some of them are going to be locked behind their heritage. Alright, that sounds good. I didn't really feel, as we were designing the world, that we were missing any Fey races. Character creation stream. Yeah, well, this is for the species, the races, the ancestries, the heritages, the lineages, whatever you want to call it, for the world. That's what we're working on right now, Cadenex. If you missed the beginning, I was pointing out that in Pathfinder 2e, not every elf is the same. Not every tiefling is the same. You have your heritage, which is your subclass, and then that can impact what racial abilities you take, and then you get more racial abilities as you level up. So that's sort of what we're exploring right now. All right. Let's see. Why is this bar at the bottom so tall all of a sudden? I will have to look into that. That's weird. Okay. Anyways, let's see. Back to our design documents. So we got Fae mapped out. Again, I didn't feel... Hey, what's up, Lex? I didn't feel like there was any additional Fae that we needed past the Shadow Fae and the Red Caps. I felt like that handled the two different things that I wanted to see represented. If I were to add a third heritage... What was that level up thing I found a few months ago? Okay, that was from Grim Hollow. And it was for, not so much for races, it was for templates that are applied on top of your race. So you could be a vampiric elf. You could be a lichen dwarf, that sort of thing. So I don't know if I'm going to use this or the Pathfinder one. I like the Pathfinder one more, then I like this one. This one is still good for stuff that could happen in the game. Honestly, could just use both. I mean, if we really wanted to give people a lot of build options for their character, we could just use both. If I was to add a third type of Fey creature, I would probably add troll-blooded people. I think that'd be kind of hype. I love the idea of trolls being Fey, a la like Hellboy. Like Hellboy has like trolls as Fey. Harry Dresden series, the Dresden novels, trolls are Winter Fey and that. I love the idea of goblins and trolls being Fey creatures. I'm a huge fan of that. So we already have the little angry dudes. We already have the mysterious dexterous dudes. I sort of like the idea of like a big bruiser. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that would be kind of cool to have like a troll-blooded race or a troll race. So that'd be kind of cool. It also follows the design rule, the rule of 3 from Dungeons and Dragons cosmology. If we have 3 different heritages for each one, that could be kind of cool and make some nice symmetry. So for now, we'll put maybe. All right. Let's see. Then we've got the lichens, which initially we were going to make the lichens a type of Fey, but the lichens really are going to be their own thing. So let's set that up properly. We will have wolves, rats, and bats. That's the ones that I want. I know that there is literally a were version of like every animal in existence, but I like these. These are the ones I want to focus on, so those are the ones we're going to do. A bird one would be kind of dope, but I don't really want to do a bird one. We're going to stick with those 3. All right. And then here, once again, we'll have certain things locked behind heritage. Okay. And we'll say size variation could be a feat. Smalls and larges. Yeah, the vampires were going to be based on owls. I kind of like the idea of them like preferring knowledge and all that kind of stuff. So the bats being lichens, that's like we get the bats in there for the Gothic horror, but they're kind of their own thing. I like that quite a bit. Also, birds are way more evil than bats. I mean, they used to be dinosaurs, you know what I'm saying? Like, birds are pretty fucking heavy metal. So, bats, they're just cute. I don't know. All right, let's keep going. We got Dampiers. So, this is where it gets tricky. I don't have 3 different things to do for the vampires, right? Because what am I going to do there? But we did discuss when we were building the worlds that there could be different types of vampires, a la World of Darkness, with the different houses and things like that. So what I was thinking is, we need a good name. Well, no we don't. We'll just call them vampires. And what we'll do with the vampires is we will have, let's pad this document a little bit. There we go. With the vampires, we will do a pureblood, a Dampier, and I kind of like this idea, bear with me here, of playing as a vampiric thrall. Like, how could a thrall ever be balanced to be on the same level as a vampire? I don't know, but I feel like there's potential there. The other alternative is, instead of a pureblood and a thrall, we do something like a succubus, essentially. Let's see. I definitely spelled that wrong. There we go. So we do like a succubus incubus. We do a Dampier, and then we do like a blood drinker. I don't know. But the idea here is this is a vampire that focuses more on psychic and mind control. This is a vampire that is, you know, more traditional hands-on vampire. And then the Dampier is a half vampire. So they're going to have, you know, the ability to essentially take feats that would remove weaknesses and make it easier to pass for human, that kind of thing. So it would be a half vampire or, yeah. Well, we're done with lichens, so we'll come back later for those. Sorry about your luck. Let's see. I also like the idea of people being able to choose their size for their race, for certain races. Because if the race itself is not a purebred race, if it is a templated race or a heritage or a ancestry, it would be safe to say that if a dwarf, like a literal dwarf, like a person with dwarfism, was turned into a vampire, then they might be short, you know? So I kind of like the idea of including a feat that would allow you to be a different size. So that could be kind of cool. So that's how I'm thinking we would space out the vampires. And then, let's see. We got this humanity meter. We got improving your racial abilities, which we talked about. Opportunities for feats. Trading in class abilities for racial abilities. Story boons. A piety system. Not really too keen on that. It's a pain in the ass to track piety. And then custom subclasses. And then we start talking about the realms. So what we learned while we were building the world is that we did, in fact, need some... what's the word I'm looking for? Constructs, right? So I'm going to call these people, for lack of a better word, splicers. And yeah, it's kind of a Bioshock thing, you know, splicers. But I feel like it sums up what they are after more than anything else. So there's going to be ones that are more into bio. There's going to be ones that are more into Arcana. And then there's going to be some that are more into machinery, so we'll call it artifice. I also had this discussion with Kiddo about this setting would actually be appropriate for an artificer, especially this particular realm. Do we finally address like the artificer balance issue? Do I make artificer worse to match the design of the classes that were made 5 years earlier without all the playtesting and knowledge that was used to make the artificer so awesome? Or do we put in the work to try and make artificer better? Or do we just, you know, build off of Giffy's work, use the Giffy class compendium system of everything compressed into 1 to 10 classes, and then we just do the work of making a Giffy artificer. If we made a Giffy artificer, he's not technically allowed to do it and publish it because it is, you know, locked behind licensing and all that kind of stuff. But we could do a class and call it something that's not artificer but is artificer, and then have it for our setting, because we're not going to worry about publishing it or anything else like that. So that might be an easier way to do it. I think heritage feats combined with Giffy's class compendium, that could be real strong. You could have nice compressed game that could even run from like 1 to 10, and you just have more frequent level ups. Well, right. That was the other option, was make every other class as good as Artificer, but that's a tremendous amount of work. And, yeah. So, Giffy classes, in my opinion, are already well-balanced against each other, and they're already well-balanced against, you know, the system. So it'd be easier to just make one new type of Giffy class than to redo all the 5e classes to be as good as Artificer. Also, we shouldn't even be talking about classes because we're supposed to be building like ancestries and races and stuff like that. That's for future problem. Those are future problems. Let's focus on the races themselves. So amongst the splicers, there are those that prefer bio, arcana, or arcana, and then artifice. So those would be the 3 heritages for that. And then we would call it. That would be it. I say that would be it, but we still end up with humans with 3 subs. So that's 1. Fae with 3 subs. That's 2. Lycans with 3 subs, that's 3. Vampires with 3 subs, that's 4. And Splicers with 3 subs, that's 5. So there's 5 races, and if you count each of the heritages, that brings us in at 15 total. So that's not too bad. 5 Ancestries. Oh my gosh, will I ever spell this word correctly? 5 Ancestries with 15 heritage. Ugh, what a terrible word. Me personally, with my lizard brain, do not like Giffy classes because I like unlocking things. Well, that's a shame. Oh well. Alright, so, let's see. We've got 5 ancestries with 15 heritages. Okay. So now that we have mapped those out, we can start mapping them out even more. So we'll go back up to the top here, and we'll start with the Humes. Alright. Here we go. So what about humans? Would we need to break down into this? Let's see. I guess we could just peek. We'll just peek at all the heritages they've got here. There we go. Humans. Alright. Let's see. Human heritages. Skilled, versatile, and winter touched. Well, that's kind of a weird third one to throw in there. Alright, and then there's halves. By default, half-elves and half-humans are all descended by humans. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Humans get a cantrip. It's kind of dope. Arcane tattoos. Okay, weird flex. Astrology, construct summoner. Also kind of nuts. Cooperative nature. Courteous comeback. Devil's advocate. Humans, unsurprisingly, have a shitload of options. Viking shieldbearer, witch warden. Okay, that's kind of dope. Unconventional weaponry. Ah, nice. Okay. Choose an uncommon or simple martial weapon. Let's see. Spirit bond. Okay. Natural skill. Your ingenuity allows you to learn a wide variety of skills. And you raise to be natural ambition. You gain a first level class feat for your class. Wow, that's really good. You can select the feat later or the character progression. So this is sort of the variant human option. Keep up appearances. Okay, you never show weakness. I'm kind of digging these. Kind of digging it. It gives you a cool opportunity to really make your stuff feel different, which is cool. Okay, and these abilities go all the way up to like 17th level, which is kind of crazy. Let's see. Half elves. Playing a half elf ancestry, and then half orcs get thrown in this section. Okay, that's cool. Alright, so let's move this over here and see what we've got. Also, the actual human entry. So we'll open that up. And while we're here, why don't we open up feats and look at some of the human feats as well. So let's see. These are weird tags. Core D&D. Oh, here we go. Select sources. Xanthars, all the way at the bottom. Okay. Oh, tags. There we go. We could just do racial. There we go. All right. Bountiful Luck, Dragon Fear, Dragon Hide, Drow Magic, Fade Away, Orcish Fury, Prodigy, Squat Nimbleness. See, I feel like there's just not enough racial feats. I'm not even seeing Human Determination on here. Did they not tag it? That's kind of weird. Okay, let's go check it out. Infernal Constitution, Revenant Blade, Prodigy. You have a knack for learning skills, so we'll do Prodigy, skill-based. And then Second Chance is Halfling. Where the hell is Human Determination? I bet they didn't tag it. Nope. What? Human Determination is a thing, right? Oh. It didn't make it to a published book. Got it. Okay. All right. That's fine. What we can do then is... Here, we'll go back here. Something based on being stubborn. Because that's human beings. Human determination. All right. And then let's see. What else we got for human beings? Oh, yeah. Linguist would be good. Let's see. Social skill boosts. Adaptability. These are things we're kind of looking for abilities here. Let's see. Yeah, mostly they're just super customizable. And then variant human, of course, is that. I want to avoid bonus feats, though, if possible. All right. Let's see. Cantrip access. Let's see. You critically fail a diplomacy check. And you haven't used Curious Comeback. Reroll the triggering diplomacy check using the second result. Yeah, so these level 1 things are not particularly strong, and that's totally okay because you're getting more and more and more as you level up. Since we're smashing everything down into levels 1 to 10, we would then take the 1 to 17 model and try to spread that out across levels 1 to 10. Does everyone know how magic works? Are you asking like the chat if they know how magic works? Or are you asking me if the people in the world know how magic works? I'm not 100% sure on the question. Look here. A human can just gain dark vision. Oh, only if they're from a particular background. The world maker, do I know how? Again, I don't understand the question. Do I know how magic works in the world? I'm going to say magically. It's how it works. Okay. Let's see. Additional stat boosts are a thing. Let me drag this over to here so we can see what we had in our notes. For those that, let's see, embrace. So specifically for embrace, we talked about competitive. Okay. So competitive, ruthless, low light to dark vision. Does everyone in the world know how magic works? I'm gonna say no, because everyone in the world is a super broad yet specific statement, and it would be impossible for everyone in the world to know how magic works. Again, I'm not 100% sure what you're asking. Are you asking if this is a high magic setting? Is that what you're asking, Cadenex? Because, I mean, I live in the real world, and I could tell you that, you know, science is magic here in the real world, and I'm going to tell you that most people in the information age in the year 2021 don't know how science works. So I'm going to say there's a damn good chance that most people don't know how magic works in your D&D setting, regardless of what D&D setting it is. Can anyone learn how to do magic? I'm going to say yes. If anybody puts in the time and the training, they should be able to learn to do magic. That's, yeah, there's no limiters in place that would prevent someone from gaining access to magic. I'm so confused by your guys' questions. Like, for one, we're not working on the magic system today. We're working on the ancestry and stuff. So I don't know what prompted this line of questioning. And then two, like, we're not working on the magic system today, so we're not going to worry about the magic system. That's my stance on it. But as far as I'm concerned, magic is something that anybody in any of the realms will be able to access if they want, but it's also something that the average basic bitch person or citizen or fae or whatever might not understand the more complicated aspects of. I treat magic in tabletop settings the same way I would treat science in real life. There are scientists, there are science adjacent people, there are people on YouTube that are in no way trained to be scientists who do science videos and science experiments. There are people that are innately good at sciencey stuff. They have like a very keen mind, a very smart mind for science and chemistry and things like that. And then there are just the average people who have no clue how any science stuff works at all. So that's sort of the same path that I'm taking with this. It's there, it's available for everyone, but it's also not something that everyone's going to be able to do. I hope that covers it. Yeah, these races will definitely have innate magical abilities for sure. Yep. All right. We even mentioned it way back when we first started this that we might give these people innate spell-like abilities, similar to the Drow. So, all right. This would be a higher level tier, though. All right. Let's see. Then we'll go back to fight and the sorts of heritage feats that we would do for Fight the Darkness would revolve around hunting, tracking, knowledge skills, probably stuff related to willpower, so wisdom, con saves. Let's see. Warrior culture, oath tenants rules, hardened hearts, practical, good, athletic. And then we talked about innate spell-like abilities. Let's see. As also a higher level. Okay. And then we've got survive. Alright, so survive, I'm looking at things like similar to toughness. Let's see. Skill focused, save focused, health focused. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So fleshing that out. Alright, let's go down to the Fae. We'll do a quick pass on them to come up with some heritage feats as well. Let's see. Overall, stuff that we talked about for the Fae would certainly be innate magics, alien minds, so resistances. Let's see. Illusion magics for sure. So we'll notate that. Let's see. Change your appearance, change your voice. Okay, so teleporting would be a Fae trait. And let's see. Okay, advanced magics at higher levels. Okay. And then resistances, but also weaknesses. Okay. And we'll do iron. Okay, and then we got a lot of good information about this. So I'm going to copy this exact words and we'll add it to this so we have it in 2 places. Awesome. All right. So then from those options, we would have the Shadow Fae. And then specifically abilities for the Shadow Fae would be... Okay, so we'd probably do stuff like invisibility, stealth, deception, basically things that would be good for infiltration. Then we're going to go down to red caps. Okay, so with red caps, we're looking at powerful builds. We're looking at... okay, outsized strength. Let's see. We're looking at their iron boots. I like the idea of opting in for the Fey resistances and the weaknesses because maybe you just don't want to deal with that shit. Yeah. So we'll do stronger in darkness for the Shadow Fae. Okay. Let's see. So that's good. And then we've got these trolls. And for trolls, we're looking at powerful build again. We're looking at the Jeremy Crawford medium situation. We're also looking at regeneration. Whoa, what the fuck? That was weird. Okay. Just sort of rebooted my thing. Okay, we're looking at regeneration with weaknesses. Fire / acid, for example. All right. And then we could do scales with number of feats taken. Ah, there we go. So you could kind of keep boosting it and boosting it. That would be pretty cool. All right. So that's a good initial pass for potential heritage feats for the main bloodline, and then for the 3 different heritages underneath. Let's go to the lichens. I like the idea of size variation because they are shape-shifty creatures, so that's kind of cool. All lichens would be able to take things like keen senses, pack tactics. Let's see. Resistances with weaknesses. Let's see. They would all have similar animal handling / animal friendship style abilities. And that is all we had for that. Oh, limited regeneration with weaknesses. Let's see. Scales with leveling. Alright, but then we talked about, oh shit, natural attacks too. God, there's like a lot of stuff here. Natural attacks and alternate forms. Okay. So then we also have the wolves, and things that the wolves are going to focus on would be beefier, rage adjacent abilities, resist or immune to fear, maybe even like a howl. Kind of cool. Are vampire bats also lichens? I don't understand the question again, Cadenix. Like, there are gonna be were-bats. So, that's a thing. And then the vampires are gonna be a different thing. I don't know if I want to do the templates or not, where you can essentially mash like a million different things together. Like, I'm not 100% sure I want to do that. I want to build out the core stuff first, and then kind of go from there. Like, I don't want to do like just a full-on grab bag of stuff until I get a better sense of how people are going to build and develop the heritages that they pick, and then kind of going from there. You know, we go where it will go. In some games, the curse of vampirism and the curse of lycanthropy are completely incompatible with each other. Like, you can't do both, kind of thing. So could also just rule that, like, to be a splicer is different than to be a lichen. Like, you start as like one or the other. Are you a lichen who get into body augmentation and stuff like that? Like, that's cool. So you start one way and then you start developing another way. And one way that we could do that is under heritage feats, or under these feats. We could just have ability to switch heritage paths through feat purchases. This would keep you from... I mean, it would limit your ability to min-max. So if you started with one heritage, but then your idea was that the character started this way and they're going to end this way, you have the ability to branch out into another essentially ancestry tree and start developing abilities from that. So, but you're 1 feat behind everybody else for doing it. I think that could kind of be a good solution. Similar to these tieflings that can become tiefling ASMRs. We could do that where Alright, I started out as a bat lichen, but then I now work for the vampires, and I started developing vampiric abilities. So now I'm developing vampiric abilities instead of, or in addition to, my bat abilities, but now I'm 1 feet behind someone who just stuck with what they initially had. I think that could work really good. Yeah. So the Fear Roar, for these dudes, we could just put, Leonins and Dragonborn. Racials. Okay. What else can the wolves do? Let's see. Wolf snoots, blah blah blah. Okay. So that's the thing. So up here under animal forms, we should mention differs based on heritage. Okay. Then we've got the rats, and amongst the rats, we're going to focus on dexterity. Let's say skills, and let's see. So we could do fear and bolster. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Alright, so then for forms, let's see. Okay, were-rats. Oh yeah. Disease / poison resists. Let's see. Sneaky. And fast. Alright, then we got bats. Alright, so we got flight, which we would start as a glide, upgrade to full flight. So basically you gotta dump like, I don't know, 2 into that. So if you don't take the basic feat of being able to fly as a bat, you're like a really sad bat lichen, I guess. So that's awkward. I definitely think that they need, in the compressed system, to get a new racial feat every level. That's definitely something that we need to look at, or possibly take 2 and then see where you go from there. I think in Pathfinder you only get the 1 at level 1. Let's see. At first level you get 1 feat, and then you get a new feat every 4 levels thereafter. Woof. So, yeah. That's rough. Okay. And I think there is one ability that every race always has no matter what. So there's going to be like one signature ability that every race always has. Let's see. What is the signature for humans? Do they have a signature one? No. You get 1 feat, blah, blah, blah. So do they not have a signature one? I might have to do a little bit more reading. For now, I just like the idea of fleshing out the abilities that we're at least considering here. And I would like to gate the full flight behind some advancement at least. Yeah, so we have clumsy flyers at low level. While flying, you must move your entire movement. Okay, so we'll add that to the clumsy flyer stuff. Okay. And then, let's see. Enhanced dark vision. Possibly with sunlight. Sensitivity. Okay. And then hybrid when flying, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I feel like that's the real claim to fame for the bats, is giving them better senses. And then flight, because they'll have access to all the core lichen features like everybody else. That is something that I really like, was reading the Pathfinder stuff. I feel more comfortable having just Fae as the core race, and then these sub races as literally separate races, but there's enough in common that they could go off of that core design. Alright, so let's see. What else do we need? Oh, yeah, we gotta move on. Vampires. Here we go. So before we did Dampiers, but we didn't do these other guys. So let's look at some of the options here. We've got speed, we've got charisma, and dex. I feel like all of them are going to be dexterous. Let's see. There's going to be sunlight based issues, so we'll do resistances with weaknesses, and it's mostly going to be sunlight based. And let's see. Dual type Pokemon, climbing speed equal to your walking speed. Can manipulate hit dice. Okay. Let's see. Hit dice based magics? Question mark. And then we're gonna have the sucks, which will be charm and social based. Let's see. Possible. Alter self. Magics. Alter self is a pretty terrible spell, so in the 5th age of magic. Let's see. Okay. Vampiric bite. Blah blah blah. Humanity meters. Blah blah blah. Okay. So we've got Dampiers, and that could just be, I don't want to say as written, but we could grab stuff from there. So climb speeds. Let's see. Vampiric bite. And oh, dark vision for everybody. Go. Dual type Pokemon. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, and then we would have the Blood Drinker. I'm not 100% sure what to call these guys. Blood Bound. That sounds pretty dope. Alright, call them Blood Bound. That sounds a lot cooler than Blood Drinker. And Bloodbound would be more like bruiser type stuff. So we would look at strong. Let's see. Martial. Be good. Yeah. Use stolen blood to power up. Okay. Good, good, good. And then we get down to the splicers. Go. And this is the race that we didn't really do anything for, because we weren't 100% sure on that area. Alright, so we should look at... let's see... Put this in the wrong place. Okay. Go here. So list of splicer ancestry feats. Okay. So we want to harvest traits from Simic Hybrid, for sure. And we also want to harvest traits from the Warforged. And maybe even the Warforged UA. Yeah. Oh, hey, what's up? Oh, listen to that. Alright. We have sunk an hour into this. and I think it's pretty good. So we have 5 races, each with 3 sub-races, so 5 ancestries with 15 heritages. We're exploring the idea of feats for your racial abilities, that you become more defined in your race as you level up, but allowing the option to branch into other paths if you are willing to take a hit on the current path that you are on. I think that's a very elegant way to handle essentially multi-classing your racial heritage. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I like the direction that this is going. It's going pretty good. We will look into layering in some Warforged abilities, some Simic Hybrid abilities. I'm going to need to get a better understanding, which I'll do off stream, of how Pathfinder heritages and ancestry feats work, to get a better sense of how we could incorporate them into a Giffyglyphs class compendium style game. So that'll be interesting. And yeah, I think we'll definitely be working on the ancestries for another week, possibly more. I'd really like to get these pretty well defined. And then we will move on to classes, and we'll start looking at what we could do for classes. I am nervous about cleric because there are 9 deities, or 9 religions at least, that we came up with. So I would like to have a couple of interesting clerical subclasses that kind of match the setting. So that's going to be a lot of design work right there. We are leaving behind a lot of the fun, man, what if the world's like this, and what if the world's like that, and we're moving more into the how will we be able to play in this world design. So it's going to be a lot crunchier moving forward, as we will start, like we did today, with these very loose outlines, and then we will let these looser outlines guide us to a more focused, crunchier, stat-based build that we could actually play with. So exciting stuff. If you're into that type of design. If you were only here for the fun, let's make stuff up based on the table results, we'll get back to that sort of stuff later, but for now we are going to be focusing on actually building playable content for the next several weeks. Speaking of the next several weeks, we'll be taking a break from this stream. So next Tuesday, I will not be streaming this content. I don't have any streams at all planned for next week. If I do stream next week, it's just because I felt like streaming something, not because I was scheduled to do any. So we are going to take a break from this. So we'll return with our 20th Homebrew prep session 2 weeks from now. So next week, no session. Thank you everybody for hanging out. There were some tough questions this time in chat. Things that I definitely need to think about is when we move into class design, like how does magic work and who has access to magic, things like that. And those are all things that we will address as we continue to build out this world. All right. Hope everybody enjoys their week. Thank you again for hanging out, and I will see you next time.